Hi everyone, so I'm going to be doing example 4 on JSON information here. So let's actually set up some sort of JSON where it contains multiple values, but it's repeated as well, so we can loop through it using a for loop and then grab the information multiple times throughout the different various objects within the JSON itself. So let's actually set this up for JSON items. It doesn't matter what you call it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a little bit of information here. So I'll have an ID of a person and I'll make this 1. And then I'll have some sort of message. And I'm just going to align it nicely so I could see the information clearly. Hi there. And I'll put email. Then at test.com. And then I'll add one more piece of information for another user, and I'll have ID of 2. And then I'll have another message for this person. And make sure you put a comma after each new item here, so then it denotes we have more things to add. I'll say goodbye for this one. And then I'll add email. So you can see here I'm keeping the exact same formatting of whatever's laid out here for these key values here on the first person. I'm formatting the exact same layout here as well, but whatever information we want or values we want, we can make that whatever we want because that's different for each individual person. And I'll say this is for Ken at test.com, and I'll save that there. And what I want to do now is I actually want to loop through this information. Let's say I want to grab first the ID of the person, and instead of always having to reference the same thing over and over again, let's say I want to use a for loop because I have like hundreds of these users set up. So this ID goes from 1, 2, and let's say we have like thousands or hundreds of these users. So what we can do is we can loop through it by doing something like this with a for loop. And let's put JSON items dot length, and then I++. I'll say var JSON. So what I want to do is I want to actually object info. I'll grab the JSON items and whatever position I. So we're grabbing the information from JSON I, but in this object info, I only want to console log out the object info dot ID. So this time, whenever it loops through, we should only get the ID of each individual person displayed in the terminal below. So let me try running this. So what you can see here is we get 1 and 2 when we run this example. Now let's say we want to grab the message or something. So we can do console.log, and we'll look at object info dot, and you can see here we get different items available to us: email, ID, message. Let's say I want to grab the message as it loops through for each individual person, and I can run node here. and make sure I run the right one. So let me just redo this here. Node example for.js. And we can see here for person 1, we get the message of hi there, which is showing right here, hi there, for person 1. And then for ID number 2, you can see here after we get the message of goodbye. So this is a really useful technique when we eventually start getting into API calls, because we want to be able to eventually loop through the API calls when it has multiple information for each different person or whatever sets of values are given to us. This is going to be really important. We know how to grab individual items as it loops through so it's more efficient for us.